Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good in you.
I'm awesome. It is so great to have you on here. Welcome to Lucid Lemons, Zoom Pride
Hello.
interviews. We are so excited to talk to you. I am so excited to talk to you. And I just want to say on camera that I am so jealous of your locks because mine are not there.
It needs time. You just need to be dedicated, and one day they'll just become like this. Because I mean, at some point, mine was so tiny, it was embarrassing.
I'm looking forward to it because let's just leave these babies out of it.
Yeah, let them grow.
I'm
Yeah,
so excited to have long hair. And I'm like, whew,
that's why I grew mine just so I can flick. Actually,
love it.
no. Hello to everybody. Thank you for having me yet again. My name is Gyre Inkosinkonkoni. I am a queer artist, rapper, YouTuber, and all-round multidisciplinary artist that's based in Johannesburg.
Spit on it.
And I make music, predominantly rap, but I also create different kinds of content with an aim at growing queer pride and promoting queer rights, not only in my country, but particularly in African countries where it's of need, through my existence, because I believe my existence is resistance. And so, yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love that introduction. It is so beautiful. Do you mind
Hey.
telling us how you identify and what your pronouns are?
My pronouns are he, she, they, them, it, blah, 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 everything.
You literally just
I,
took the whole bag.
everything I want it all. I always tell people that with regards to pronouns, I feel like I've grown so much that I've learned to disassociate any power words have, because ultimately pronouns are just a word, and I understand the importance for those who feel the need to, and I respect those. But personally, I don't give a shit, because it's like, ugh, dude,
You've gone
ultimately
through
I
that
just
phase.
yeah,
You've gone through it. I just love it. I love it. I love the fact that we can grow and keep evolving to a point that, like, frankly, you can call me or whatever, and it won't
yeah.
have any power on you. And I think that's such a beautiful place to be in. How old are
Yeah.
you, by the way?
I am a whole 25 years old. Can you imagine?
Whoa. I wouldn't believe it. I thought you were like 22 or something.
No. And thank you. I appreciate that. I was 22 at some point in my life, but I'm 25 now, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's probably one of the best ages, I think, actually.
Also, I'm excited to get to 25 now.
How old are
That got me
you?
so excited. I am 20. I'm going to be 21 in September.
Wow, you're a baby. You're a baby.
I'm a little grown. Okay, I'm a grown little person. I'm grown. We go and fight. I wanted to ask you, where does your name come from? Because I told you I have to be honest on camera. I had such a hard time pronouncing it. I'm like, is it Gyro? Like, and I asked some friends, and we just kept going back and I was like, please, how do you pronounce your name? So what does it mean? What inspired it?
So it's pronounced ja, like a German, but ya, like ja, yeah,
Jaya.
right? And
Jaya?
Jaya. So a gyre is a vortex or a whirlwind. And so when I first started rapping, I believed that I considered myself a conscious rapper because I spoke on issues that social issues rather. And so I've since evolved my thought to believe that all rap is conscious because all consciousness is valid. And so
I love that.
through the through that I've been able then to metamorphose and understand myself to be the gyre between or the gate or the vortex to another dimension of thought. You know what I mean? Because my music speaks to identity politics, and my queerness will always be prevalent regardless of whether it's overt or not. I believe I'll always take you to another dimension of thought. I am the gate, the gyre, the vortex.
That
Yeah.
is
And that's
amazing. You know, it's amazing. I found you on Twitter, and when I went through your Twitter bio, it said you were a musician, YouTuber, MC, and writer. And I'm like, whoop, those are a lot of things to be. How do you juggle
yeah.
all of this? How do you make up enough time?
Well, I think it's about being true to where I'm at in the moment. You know what I mean? I'm not always writing. I'm not always emceeing. I'm not always YouTubing. You know what I mean? I think I'm always just like channeling whatever is necessary for me at that time. And I live in a country where the music industry isn't as developed and mature as it is, for instance, in the United States or even in Nigeria. You know what I mean? And so it's important to be multidisciplinary and have multiple streams of income, not for the sake of income as well, but also as an artist to constantly be refining, because everything informs that which I do. And so it's just about, in that moment, what do I need myself to be, and I become that. You know what I mean? And so that's how I believe I'm able to balance it all. It's hard, and I feel like sometimes I slack on other things, and sometimes I still struggle with self-belief in some others, because perhaps maybe, for instance, I've had greater recognition in certain aspects of it, and others are still developmental, but I still recognize myself and I still give myself the kudos I believe I have, because I'm still working at it. Just because I don't have the mainstream or a grand recognition for it doesn't devalue the effort I put into
Imposter syndrome keeps seeping in for a lot of people, especially artists that have to juggle a lot. And
it.
I
Yeah.
completely appreciate and respect that you're able to do this and that you choose to keep refining yourself. And I think it's beautiful. Like you said, art will keep informing art, and really, we're all just greater regenerations of the best art form. So I absolutely love that. What is your favorite kind of music to make and to listen to?
Um, I think my favorite kind of music to make is the music I make off of my head, because like I do this thing where like I was just like be having any melody, and whatever comes, and I've diversified my means of like music output and produce, you know. So I'm most commonly known for trap and rapping, but that was just me. Like Quinomics was just me learning how to rap on beats. That just happened to be
Really?
hard.
You were
You know?
just learning? Oh
Yes,
no.
I started I started rapping in 2015. I
Nah,
started
you
recording.
lying. You lying. I don't
Genuinely,
believe you. It's a lie. It can't be possible.
no, genuinely, I wasn't a rapper before. I was a singer. Then my balls dropped, and I was like, shit, I can't sing anymore. And then I was like, how am I gonna learn to like become a better singer? And so I only started rapping to only like improve my breathing and my vocal control. And then stumbled across this, and then my producer Gyre was like, "Hey, here's a beat to learn." Like Black Jesus was like the second song I ever made. Slay and Steep was like the third song I ever made. You know what I mean? And
That's
then
amazing.
all those 13 songs are literally the first 14 songs I've ever made in my whole life. Like, and so it was like me learning, you know what I mean? So since then, I've learned so much more. So I don't think I have a particular like favorite, but like whenever the mood comes, like I feel like I finna spit some bars, you know what I mean?
I
I'm
love
gonna do
it.
that. And sometimes I just want to sing and I sing. So I feel like it depends on my mood. And also the producer, like I love buying producers, and I always tell producers, don't give me what you expect me to do. Give me what you are always afraid to show anybody else. Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break ground. I believe brand Gyre is not just about breaking ground in the sense of lyrical content, but also sonically. I wish to break the sound sonically as well. So I'm always encouraging people to just go into the deepest form of themselves, because that's what I am. That's what Gyre is. Deepest form of me. You know,
I
I can't
love
believe I
it.
turned
Daring
into
to
a man.
reimagine music, daring to imagine yourself as an artist, daring to just shatter it all. There will be no glass ceiling. I absolutely love it. Now, when it came to the raps for Quinomics, what inspired like the lyrics? And you know, when I say Quinomics, I'm actually talking about Premium Bottom, because yes, we will be discussing that song.
You know, Premium Bottom was just my friend wrote, I had put up a status, and then my friend wrote on the status, Premium Bottom. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the name of a song. And they were like, I don't believe you. I'm like, bitch, let me show you. And then I just wrote that song overnight, and then it just became a thing. And then I
I
went
love
to
it.
studio, I heard a beat, and I was like, let me try to do it to this. And then that's how it came about. And the reason why I'm always hating on Premium Bottom is because since I've made the song, I figured out how I can make it more musical. And so I want to perform it in a more musical way, but it's very slow trap, you know what I mean? But I appreciate it because I understand why the people who resonate with it also appreciate it because of the lyrical content. In general, with regards to Queernomics, I made a very intentional decision to make a an entry album that directly spoke to my queerness, but because when it was released, there was no Little Nas X. Frank Ocean was still like a myth, low key. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to like be in a position where people are like second guessing whether I'm queer or not. Like I'm really okay with my sexuality, and I need them to know this so that I don't ever have to address this ever again, you know?
Yeah, like
And
straight
so,
up, don't be asking me questions. Oh, we saw your
yeah,
nails. Are you? No, you've been new from the start.
it's very declaratory in nature. Songs like Premium Bottom, Inkunzi Malanga, which is like a man amongst men. That's what that song means. And it's from Zulu, you know what I mean? It affirms and it takes my position within my culture because, you know, a lot of African cultures in the modern day like to sell this fallacy that queerness never existed. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, bitch, I'm here, I'm present, you know?
And
And
we've been
like,
present for years.
years, you know? And so it was definitely an intentional decision to be very direct and sometimes very aggressive in the way in which I put my sexuality forward because it's also hip hop. Like I learned in hip hop. Like I remember when I was doubting myself before the album came, my sister was like, I went to my sister, I'm like, I'm doubting myself with this music thing. She's like, dude, do you think AKA, J. Cole, Casper, Nicki Minaj, you know, Foxy ever doubted themselves? In hip hop, you back yourself or you don't, you know, and I completely backed myself from the moment I started. And so, sorry, that's just my father. But like for me, it was very important that all of that consistently was the case, and I didn't want to be um, second guessed in any way, shape, or form with regards to that. And I'm proud now because people can resonate with that. You know what I mean? People can see themselves in Queenomics. People can understand the complexities of it. And a lot of the times it goes bigger than just the music itself. Like I intentionally make my music didactic. It needs to teach and it needs to entertain. You know what I mean?
I
And
love
I
it.
feel like I've been able to achieve that through songs like Eat My Ass. That song is loved by straight boys. Straight boys love that song, you know, because it's like, whoa, this is a jam. But it's
It
like,
is a
oh,
gem.
people need to like still vibe with it, you know. And I feel like that's my intention at all times to entertain and to teach. And so that was my purpose in the way that I wrote Queenomics, and just let myself out. You know, it was just a huge exhale.
No, I that makes me so happy because a lot of people, when it comes to their first projects, especially I know over here in Nigeria, you have people wondering, okay, do I want to identify as this? Because Nigeria has quite the serious heavy queerphobia in the music industry. So I wanted to ask you that over there, how is it for you in the music industry? Did you experience queerphobia putting out your album, promoting it, performing?
Um, I definitely did, you know, but one of the first lyrics, one of the opening lyrics in my in Queenomics, I say my sexuality will get me views, but my talent will get me places, you know? And so the whole time my mentality was all on my talent. I needed to focus on making sure that I am impeccable at what I do, so that nothing that I present and nothing that people project ever penetrates that. You know what I mean? So did I face queerphobia? Definitely. But did I also face anything that any other rapper would also face? Yes, I did. And so there are some moments where I didn't even recognize that this person is being homophobic or queerphobic because I'm just not even focused on that. I'm like, why would I pay you attention, dude? I'm too talented. I've got a mission here.
On period.
You know, I'm working towards something here. Like I don't have time to entertain you. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky to be in that position because I worked hard to gain that mental strength. You know what I mean? And that's what I hope to project onto other queer people, and particularly those who feel represented by me. You know, to have that mental fortitude to not be phased, because we can't keep fighting. I refuse to fight all the time. My existence, like I say, my existence is resistance, you know? And so I will pick and I'll choose who I will entertain. If I don't want to entertain you, I will not. I choose not to recognize you. But if it affects someone else, I will choose to step up because I have the mental fortitude to fight, whereas someone might not. And that's okay. You know what I mean? So I feel like queerphobia, definitely, it's still prevalent. And I feel like in some instances, it's curtailed my progression in terms of the mainstream. I believe had another rapper been as talented and had the
Would
work
have
put out
definitely
work.
heard about you everywhere.
Definitely. But I'm not fast anyway, because this is my journey and God has given me this life and this journey for a purpose.
I love it. And you know, that's why Lucid Lemons and a bunch of newer industry people that are coming up, people that are making festivals and having we believe in the talent, and
Mm.
frankly, we are done with the age-long homophobia, and we're not here for it. We love it. We love you. We love everything you stand for.
Thank
And
you.
while we're on the topic of homophobia, I wanted to talk a bit about the marriage equality law in South Africa. So for in South Africa, you guys, I don't know if everyone knows, but there's a marriage equality law that was passed in, I think, I can't remember the year, but essentially it can lead a lot of people around Africa, especially places in Nigeria that have like 14 year gay laws, to believe that everything is perfect and rosy in South Africa. But I want to ask for a personal perspective, how is it actually living as a queer individual in South Africa?
So what South Africa has done well is that South Africa has been able to put good legislative practices, or not practices rather, good legislative laws that have given liberties to South Africans that is unprecedented in South Africa. Unfortunately, though, what that has done is that um, it's given those liberties, but there's still a society which has an inherent queerphobia, homophobia, and very violent reaction to queerness nonetheless. And because of that, you find might a lot of people have the liberties that should be granted to every queer person and any individual in the world, but unfortunately they don't necessarily enjoy the fruits of those liberties because of the culture that is still prevalent, particularly amongst Black South African homes. Even I mean, to go further in terms of legislation, it still isn't there isn't an equation between a marriage between queer folk and people who are cis heterosexual. In fact, it's called a civil union, and there's others who are actually even still advocating for there to be equality in that sense. You know what I mean? So even that in itself is still contentious, but there's no means like people must not think that the South Africa is 100% queer like safe haven. Yes, it's better than most places, and we're super grateful for that. But unfortunately, I, as a man, am privileged enough to have that as a queer man. But if you're a Black queer woman, you're not going to have the exact same liberties and feel as safe as I do. If you're a Black queer woman who is differently abled, it's even worse. You know what I mean? And so there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. South Africa is considered such a horrible term, the rape capital of the world. The
It's
amount
terrible.
of violence towards women is unbelievable. And what people don't even speak about is the disproportionate effect that has on Black queer women. And what we find is what is horribly named corrective rape, what is actually homophobic rape happening to a lot of queer women. And it's such a hate crime to the point where these women aren't just raped and like murdered, they are literally mutilated. In some cases, I don't want to get into the gruesome because I feel like it's too much, but it's just absolutely horrific. You know what I mean? So yes, we have the liberties on paper, but we are still changing attitudes. We're still getting people to I hate to say buy in because it's not about buying in. Like, how can you buy into a civil right?
Yeah.
But it's society to change its ideals about what queerness is, and hence why the
So
work
much
that I
unlearning
do.
needs to be done.
Yes, a lot of unlearning still needs to be done, and hence why artists like myself, artists like Dopes and Jude, artists like DK did it, artists like Mr. Olafit, Tandiso Mazwai, are so important to changing those ideas of what queerness is in the country. Because ultimately, the legislative laws allow us to have some form of leg to stand on, but we need to change the people's minds. The same way with racism. Racism in America and the world, Black people are free in theory, but are still facing those bad and horrible conditions, all based off of bad attitudes towards ideas of race, Black people, and queerness, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, asexual, queer, plus.
I completely agree with you, and I have to say it all boils down to the patriarchy, because that is the structure that is upholding all of these bad things, and we really need to all do our parts to take it down. Which is why I'm extremely grateful for you and the other musicians you've named, especially in South Africa and in Kenya, because that's where we see a lot of fights in Uganda, Nigeria too, and all the organizations striving up the NGOs, because it's like the government gave you guys a tree and says, here's an apple tree, you can have the apples, but like all these people will kill you if you try to step towards it. And we need to clear the ground because we cannot have new generations coming into this. We must all do our work now to make a
Yeah.
better future for them. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you why you started making music and how you started making music. Was it from a political point of view, or it was just a thing you've been doing?
Well, I've been making music ever since I was a child. Like, I was writing songs from the age of like 8, but writing formally from the age of 12. But I stopped making music when I got to varsity, or what other people would call college. And I was then just like blooming and stuff, just being gay, dude. Like, it was dope. You know, I was coming into myself, you know. But I think Gyre came into being, like I said, in 2015 when I was 20. And at the time we had Freeze Must Fall, which was a movement here in South Africa to have education, free education. And that really prompted me to want to express myself differently. Like I said, besides my balls dropping, I couldn't sing. I couldn't say what I wanted to say in a song. Like, I couldn't say, it's my ass. You know, it still work, you know? And so I needed something different, and rap really was a platform which allowed me to flourish and speak candidly about the issues that mattered to me. And so that's why I started making music, like, and making music to put out. You know what I mean? And all of that came, I mean, everything that happened as a result was really just by chance. And I say chance, but I guess God's design, because I had never planned to do it. I was doing a law degree before I left, you know, and suddenly I found myself a rapper. And I was like, girl, you was a gay rapper? What's
We love it.
So yes, I guess political social political issues prompted me to be the musician that I am today, but music was always in me.
Mm, I love it. I love it. I wanted to ask you, what's your best part of making such blatant, blatant, blatantly, Jesus, what is English? Choir music. What is your best part of that?
I think the best part about it is the fact that it's when I feel unfiltered, because it's queer. I don't have to follow any rules. Like, there's no rule to follow whatsoever, because these motherfuckers been trying to suppress us anyway. So it's like, is it too crass to say eat my ass? And it's like, no, it's not. No one's ever done that, you know.
Exactly.
And
Tell them.
at first, I used to enjoy performing at straight events and places where a lot of people would be shocked, like, what? He's gay and he can rap and he's that dope, you know? And that was cool because it gave me a thrill. But then I started performing in queer spaces, and then the difference was that people weren't shocked, people resonated.
Yeah,
And
it's like somebody is finally saying like what we can. It's like I love, it's so delicious just to see that sliver of representation. And
yeah,
we're so excited, at Lucid Lemons to push that forward because we see how people's eyes glitter and glamour, just hearing little bits of hearing he in male songs or hearing she in female songs. And, we just want to see people we don't want that spark to only last a minute. We want it to last a lifetime. And that's why we
yeah,
must keep pushing out musicians like you. So please, thank you
yeah.
so much for performing. I'm sure if you can get to Nigeria post Rona, it would be great to like do some stuff
Listen,
to you, do some stuff with you.
my dream, and I've always told my friends this, and they say you're crazy. I'm like, well, sweetie, I'm Jaya. My dream is to perform in multiple African countries. I want to tour Africa and perform because I know how much that moment would mean for so many people. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for the opportunity to go to Lagos, to go to Kinshasa, to go to Accra, to go everywhere around Africa and just let other people who feel represented by me feel that representation and just grow and inspire. I always say I aspire to inspire, because the more there is of us, the more people, we know agents, we need agents, go, hey, agent, go to Kinshasa, go make them love gays. Okay, we're on it, girl. So it's so important that we grow the ecosystem of queer people and queer artists as well
Yes.
throughout the continent. And just the other day, I posted, I was so excited that like I'm speaking to artists who are and content creators who are in Africa, who are Black like me. You know what I mean? Because that's what I want. That's my dream. That's my dream, actually, you know, to make that change.
I love it because we're like, so we're on the same page because I believe
Yeah.
in a united community across Africa and the African diaspora. Like I said to you when I was telling you about the playlist, when I for years knowing myself as an individual, listening to music every party has always been one white person or the other. I mean, yeah, they make nice music, but like there is no Jessica in my life, you know? Like I
Yeah.
want to hear like an African name. I want to
Yeah.
feel that. I want to know. I want to be seen in my most true form, you know? And that's why I aimed this year to make that playlist of just queer Africans by queer Africans, you know, because it's so necessary to be seen, to see our
Mm.
color and see
Mm.
ourselves in each other. And a united African community, it is so amazing, which is why I always encourage all organizations to work with each other across countries. And you know,
Yeah.
it is it is it is a goal to not be seen as a minority, you know, because we are
Yeah.
not. We are so
Really.
much larger than anyone can
Mm.
imagine. I want you to tell me about the first time you fell in love, the most beautiful first time. Can you like the first time you had just one like you know boom boom, and you know you just stumbled into this big giant ocean of love and you couldn't get out.
Whew. Funny enough, I think it only happened recently. Hey,
Oh,
only recently can
spill
I
the
say that
tea.
oh girl, oh coming out. Um, only recently did I feel like I fell in love, you know, because Queernomics, Premium Bottom, Crumbs were more so self-critiques than they
Yeah,
were.
soft critique. You dragged us by our edges on crumbs, and I'm like, why you gonna do that?
It really was like I needed to sort that stuff out within myself. And so I'd always like, I feel like I had and I was completely denying myself the opportunity to fall in love because of the kinds of people that not only I was attracting, but also looking towards, you know what I mean? Because of all those internalized homophobic things that I had, you know? And so only recently, in fact, only last year, did I feel like I was able to fall in love, you know? And it was an absolutely beautiful experience because for the first time, I didn't feel. I also felt like I needed to have love reciprocated at the exact same level.
Mm,
It's like I love you 10,000. Bring it back. You
yes,
know,
I
I
completely get
learned,
that.
I learned to be content with the fact that I feel what I feel and what I feel is valid. And if I tell you that I feel this, I don't need you to respond in order to dictate what I feel, but I will act accordingly based off what you feel, you know. And I was blessed enough to have someone who understood that. It didn't work out, but I was blessed enough to finally have that feeling where I knew that I was wanted and I was wanted for who I was, not of who I purported to be or wished to be, you know. And it's such a beautiful feeling. And I still believe I'm on the process of finding even more love. In fact, my new work, like I said, is based off of the principle existence is resistance. And in that time, I am in this time I've also learned to find different kind of love and push to be okay to fall in and out of love as well, you know, and not settle because I think as queer people, especially when you're young, you settle because you think, yo, I'm never gonna find a guy again,
You just
you know.
dragged me, and I didn't need that. Okay, okay. People don't need to know my secret.
So,
For growth,
but
we're growing on learning
yeah,
certain things.
yes, and it's all about that. It's about growing and learning and being okay to learn and learning to crash and burn and
Mm,
get the fuck up. You know what I mean? That's what love is.
amen.
Get the fuck up. You know, and it's a beautiful feeling, and I feel like it's happening again. And I feel like since then, and mostly since Queernomics has dropped, I've fallen in love with myself, which is
Mm,
so beautiful. Because I don't think I loved myself enough when Queernomics dropped. And I always say hip hop made me love myself because Gyre made me love myself. You know what I mean? Because I had to love that girl, otherwise that girl wasn't gonna sell. You know. So I'm so grateful for self-love more than anything. You know, and I'm so excited to fall in love some more and again. You know, because I love myself, and so now I know what I want when I say I want to be in love. You
Oh,
know.
I love that you said that because I was just saying on my last interview that love is the constant regeneration of ourselves, you know, and each time we love, we're just getting better and higher until we become the beautiful stars that we're meant to be, and we just shine so bright because love is our art with the revolution of our art and of ourselves, of getting higher to God, to just love is just
Mm,
changing and constantly changing us. And I love that.
yeah.
But just to confirm for the girls and the gays, you are single, right? Right.
Yes, I is. Yes, I
Okay.
is. Come through. Come through. Stop the beat. Come through.
DMs are open. Send a request.
Oh, except unless if that person who's on my DM right now is listening this, then baby, hold on. It's not official.
We're just joking, you know. You know,
No.
I actually want to ask you, how do you navigate the dating scene in your country? Do you date in South Africa or you just like date internationally, you know, just hop different countries?
I mean, I've only recently only become such a cyber baby because I was fighting the internet. Hey, I was just like,
Really?
no, yes, I was just fighting the internet. I'm such like I'm a conversationalist, right? And so before Zoom, before FaceTime, all these things were possible. I didn't enjoy talking, being on my phone, talking to people because I like to be present with people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I
And so
know what
because
you
of that,
mean.
yeah, you know, so it was like always very hard to like now get into it. But since I've been able to like become on the networks again, I think my pool has definitely like widened. You know,
All
like
right, you got that
I'm now
ocean.
you girl, it's everywhere. You know, so like now I feel like I can actually um cyber date. You know what I mean? Although I don't think it's my ultimate like intention. Like I do want someone present. You know, and um yeah, I think right now I'm dating well because I'm dating with intention. And I think
Mm.
in the past I didn't move with intention. I just wanted to date because yo, I needed to skeet poof, you know. You know, but now I'm working with intention, and I'm loving with intention, and I'm dating with intention, and I'm finding it so much more fruitful. I'm finding it easier to say no to things because, like in the past, it'd be so hard to say no to someone who's so beautiful and cute. But I'm like, Ish, but you don't tick this box or that box or that box, so bye
I mean,
because
you're
I'm
hot,
so
but you're toxic, you know, you gotta go.
yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. And sometimes a person's not even toxic. Sometimes it's just like, hey, we're just not at the right space. And
Mm.
I trust love enough. I trust love life enough, and I trust God enough that I'll find what I'm looking for. And so it's okay. We can go our separate ways.
Love that. What are your thoughts on pride and what do you think about the matches? Do you think it's important to match? You know, especially since you do have some law under your belt. So let's get to it.
I think I think Pride Month as an idea is a great idea, and I think as a moment for us to all commune and feel a sense of belonging is so important. But unfortunately, we live in a capitalist world where a lot of the times a lot of these things are used to just capitalize on our demographic. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that happens with Pride. And what irritates me the fuck out is that people and the people who will be posting these things, these companies will be doing all of this, will only do it in June. And then
Yeah.
suddenly, trans lives, lesbian lives, gay lives, asexual lives, bisexual lives don't matter again.
It,
You know what I
it
mean?
expired June 30th.
Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, sorry, it's too late, babe. Sorry,
You missed the
it's gone.
offer, sorry.
You
Oops.
know, so I'm always very skeptical in the sense that like I'm just like I'll celebrate because I love to see my people be happy and I celebrate with my people, but I will always be low-key fundamentally against the idea of having a single month only because it's not because if this was if the same energy was maintained throughout then it'll be a completely different story. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of times it's just used to capitalize on us. But then the onus is then on us also to maintain that kind of pressure on those people, on those allies, on those faux and pseudo allies as well, and amongst ourselves as a community to make sure that those principles which we love and this thing where we support one another as queer people doesn't just stop in June. You know what I mean? That July 1, you're still streaming. I'm
Yeah.
still watching your YouTube channel. I'm still reading your blog. I'm still doing all of this. You know what I mean? It's so important that we create our ecosystem. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
furthermore, I think as Africans, the truth is, June is picked because of what happened in Stonewall with America,
Yeah.
the Stonewall riots in
Yeah.
America. I think it's important as African people that we look also and create our own identity as
Yes.
queer people. You know what I mean? I was watching this video, had an interesting statistic about, for instance, Nigerian im- uh, 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 immigration and Nigerian folk that moved all over the world. And what it said is that there's been 10 million Nigerians that were moved, or rather East Africans who were moved because of the slave trade, and 15 million have moved since Nigeria has obviously become independent because of many social and political reasons. But nonetheless, what has happened is that the Nigerian populace, young Nigerians, have adopted and created new cultures in their own spaces, which are a whole lot more progressive. And I thought that was such an interesting concept because I thought, oh, wow, we can adopt and use the exact same thing as queer people. We can literally create and manifest a different kind of understanding and different kinds of cultures and norms amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? And I
I
feel like
do.
that's what we should be doing.
I do, and I'm excited to hear you talk about it because that is actually, like you said, in Nigeria, that is actually what is happening right now with our community, and I love it because we have people that are so relentless. They're like, everything has to go. We are demanding a new world. We're creating a new world, and so you hear of organizations like Tears, which holds one of it. Tears gives like the largest gatherings for queer people to
Mm.
like together at once and provide safety for them. So with Tears, you have the Q conversations where they talk about everything, and we just gather as a community to talk. So Tears holds in mostly the western part of Nigeria, but then in the northern and central part, there's WHERE, which is Women's Health Initiative, right? Because in Nigeria you can't register a queer NGO, so
Mm-hmm.
you just have to have some kind of cover up. And so they do that and they work with the queer people there. And it's just like we're covering slowly but surely, we have organizations popping up. I mean, most of it right now is virtual, but it's doing the work and it's just covering like the entirety of Nigeria. And so now you see when you're looking at the Nigerian art spaces, when you look at the art spaces, you look at the concerts. I mean, I love it because when you come to Lucid Lemons, the Lemon Curd, people
Mm.
always say, "Oh, it feels like it's a choir festival," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want you to feel like that because people can just come here and be themselves. It's
Mm.
not we don't have to label it because I just it's changing and I'm excited for it. And you have some people like me who are trying to dig back into our core history and have it properly recorded, talk about the people who brought us to this place. Because for
Mm.
America we can say Marsha P. Johnson, but for Nigeria, who do we say?
Mm.
And
Mm.
I want our new generations of African kids to know that these are your ancestors, these are your
Yeah.
elders, these are the people
Yeah.
who brought you here. And like Azina Mohammed, she wrote they wrote this book with some other editors. It's called She Called Me a Woman, and that just details the stories of I think 18 queer women across Nigeria, and it's so beautiful. And she was saying that we need to dare to imagine an organization, a religion that allows queer folk to just
Mm.
be. And apparently, according to Nigerian law, you can actually register such a religious organization. And just
Mm.
hearing her talk about it, imagine having a church that by law they can't storm because it is our
Mm.
religion to be quite.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much we
Mm.
can do, and I
Yeah.
love it because queerness demands that we just keep thinking we don't live by the norms, and
Mm.
that makes me so happy. And I wanted to ask you that as an individual, a whole beautiful ass 25-year-old, are you proud of yourself where you are right now, of your art and in the place you are as, or where you identify as a person?
I think definitely, I think more so than I've ever been in my life, you know, and I'm so grateful. And I always tell my friends, I can't wait to turn 30 because I'm like, yo, if I feel this self-assured right now at 25, I wonder what God has in store for me as I grow and learn. My friend recently told me that this quote about wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And that makes me so excited that, like, wow, I know nothing. That's so exciting. You know what I mean? There's still so much more of me to do, so much growing for myself to do as well, which is absolutely beautiful. And so, yes, I can proudly say I've never been prouder to be Black, queer, Zulu, and African. You
That
know,
makes me
like
so
it's so
happy.
beautiful. It's like, you
That's
know,
you. That's you. All you. All you.
you know.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think your superpower is?
I think my superpower is communication. I
Mhm.
think my superpower is communication. God gave me the skill to talk, and not just talk, to speak my truth without fear of judgment or outcome in that moment or moments to come. You know, that's my superpower. That's my superpower. That's how I've managed to get to the position that am right now. That's why I have the respect I have amongst those who know me in hip hop, because they know that I don't mince my words. Because when I said it, not because I'm asking,
He
because I'm
said it.
telling you. I said it. You know, I believe that's my superpower, to speak my truth without fear of judgment or outcomes in that moment or moments to come.
No. I have loved this interview with you. I have learned so much, and it's good to see like my thoughts resonating with you, knowing that at least the community across Africa we're thinking alike. We're thinking of recreating a new world, and that makes me so happy. It's actually been almost an hour. It's hard to believe, but we've been doing this, and the conversation feels
Wow.
like it's lasted about 5 minutes.
I
And
know, right?
as we round
I
up,
feel
I
like I
just
met you like 10 years ago.
I know, right? It's been so amazing. Like post Rona, we should definitely hang out. Like swing by Lagos, swing by California. Let's do something. And I just want
That
to
would be
say
amazing.
how grateful we are, Lucid Lemons as an organization, that you honored us with this conversation, with this interview. And, like I said, for this month, what we're trying to do is we're trying to re-inspire hope, because it's been a hard 2020. It's been difficult for everyone across Africa, across the African diaspora, being Black, being queer. And we were trying to build a hope that would last past June into August, into next year,
Mm,
post Rona, into years and years into futures. We want to build, stoke that fire that we will give to our children. And we would
mm.
like you, if you would say some words to other queer Africans across board now, just to do something and
I
inspire
think,
them.
um, firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's a huge blessing. This is a huge moment for me. Like I said, it's been my dream to connect cross country and cross continentally. You know what I mean? So thank you. I don't think words could ever express enough how much your recognition means in and of itself. Um, and to all the queer folk throughout Africa, um, remain strong. Do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt that who you are is who you're meant to be. And don't doubt that the journey you're on is the journey you were meant to be on. You know, no matter how hard, no matter how soft it is what you were always meant to feel and always meant to experience, you know, and you will always be better for it because the universe is always working towards your favor. You must also understand that our journey is not one of a lifetime, it's one of many lifetimes, you know, and so your sacrifices, and that doesn't mean that you have to be a martyr for any cause, is not in vain, that it's going to do so much more for so many different people in so many different generations. And don't you ever not speak your truth without fear, without fear of judgment or outcome. Don't ever, just always speak your truth. And trust me, you will be absolutely fine. I love you now and always, queer pride,
That's
motherfucker.
right.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Tell us real quick before the Zoom ends. Tell us where we can find your
So,
music, where we can follow you.
music available on all platforms, all digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you go, YouTube, you got
Everywhere,
it.
everywhere.
Gyre_SA, Gyre, Inkosi Nkonkoni, which means the gay king, by the way. So, boom,
Hey.
let's leave the kingdom. Join the Giant Nation. Follow me on all those platforms and let's have fun.
Awesome. Well, you can find us Lucid Lemons at Lucid_Lemons on Twitter, Lucid Lemons with an extra S on Instagram. You can follow me. I am Lady_Yinn. So that's LADY_YINN on all platforms as well. Follow me. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.